I can confidently say that I used to watch anime before it was technically cool, and even nowadays it's really not that cool, but you know what I'm trying to say here. I don't doubt that most of the people within my age range used to watch a bunch of anime. It's more like they never said it in public. There was like a weird stigma to it, and like looking back, even actually looking around nowadays, I could kind of see why some people thought it was really weird. There are certain anime tropes that I feel like just make anime in general look weird, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about today. Look, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to make a grown woman look like a little girl, but whoever thought of it needs to be in jail. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? Like, it's not that big of a deal if they're just kind of there as a character and they just happen to be a lolly. Like, it's not great, but like there could be worse things happening. The issue really starts when they just start to randomly sexualize the lolly. Then like what are you doing with your life? Like, why, who consciously made this decision, dude? You need to be placed somewhere. I'm not gonna lie, dude, if I ever catch one of my friends defending this lolly shit, I'm gonna have to roundhouse kick the shit out of them, okay? It's the only acceptable solution, because I cannot be associating with people who think this is okay. Like, if you really think about it, this is kind of like a loophole to softcore CP, right? Like, maybe I'm just overreacting, but to me that's what it comes off as, and it's kind of nasty. Not kinda, it's very nasty. Here are some examples, by the way. I'm gonna show these examples, but you better not be too excited about this. If anybody's watching this and they're actually really curious about the examples, you need to be on a list too. I mean, like, come on, my dude. And you know what? It's always like the shittiest fucking superhero anime ever that always has it too. It's always like the bad ones that aren't good enough to even make it into Shonen Jump that has just like a bunch of lollies. It's like, why? What are you compensating for? Maybe you should be focusing more on your story than having this nastiness plastered all over your freaking anime panels. You know what I'm saying? Anime panels. All over your manga panels, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna say some like low tier anime like Fairy Tail or something, but then I realized there's a freaking lolly in Hunter x Hunter, and I love Hunter x Hunter. Anyways, I hate it, it makes me uncomfortable, and it's weird. So next, randomly sexualized moments. Now the lolly stuff is weird, right? I feel like this one is just kind of sad, really. It's not as weird as the lolly stuff, it's just sad. Like, if you look at the name fan service, that insinuates that the creator added this particular unnecessarily sexualized moment which adds nothing to the plot and to the story, simply because he knew the viewers were gonna like it. Like, it does nothing for the plot though. Like, just the randomly like sexualized moments, the random body parts flying everywhere, and the inappropriate gags in general, it's just added in there just so like the viewers' horny little monkey brains will just get off. To 2D characters, by the way. Like, how little do you think of us? Because technically I'm grouped into this, and I'm kind of offended. Like, it honestly kind of offends me that this is how the viewers think that we want to be, what's the word? Just appreciated. Like, there couldn't be any other way. I think we really need to work on just like the image of us that the creators have. Like, this is not service to us. This is just like boner, you know? This is why? Stop. As a group, I feel like we need to just help uplift this weird ass view that they have of us. It's not good, okay? It's not good in general. Like, I don't think I've interacted with a lot of people who like anime, and I've never had a single person say that they appreciated the fan service that's added in there. Or maybe they're just too embarrassed to admit it, but either way, I feel like you could just kind of live your life without that being in there and it wouldn't impact anything. But, you know, either way, my dudes, we got the hub, so I don't see why we need to be like injecting this random degenerate shit into like other forms of media that we consume. We already consume way too much. I don't know why we need to make it worse. Literally, we need to fix this shit, otherwise we're gonna end up looking like this. It's rotting our brains, my dudes. Next. Sad backstories for villains. Now, this one isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like it's been happening a bit too much recently. Main culprit is obviously, like in recent times, would be Demon Slayer, because how is it that every single demon that this man Tanjiro kills has a backstory? And it's always sad as fuck, and I end up feeling bad for the demon that slaughtered thousands of people. Like, come on. I mean, obviously there's like a couple other ones as well, but like right now the one that I think of whenever I think of this thing that pisses me off is definitely Demon Slayer. Now look, I'll admit that it does a really good job of just like explaining the motivations of the villains, and that like helps you get a deeper understanding of why they are the way they are. And I'm not gonna take away from the fact that that makes the story better, but like some people in this world are just bad, okay? Like you gotta admit that. Like why are you making me second guess hating on this dude, you know? Admittedly, there are just like a bunch of like random fodder villains that tend to just be straight up evil, but I think that might just be the issue with making a compelling villain. Like it's hard to make a villain just straight up evil and make you relate to them. So it's like a fine line, but I want to see a lot more just straight up evil motherfuckers that just don't give a fuck. Like that boy Mahito, that man did not give a shit. He wasn't even human, so it wouldn't make sense to relate to him. But shout out to that man, that was a good ass villain, and he had no sad backstory. He was just crazy. All right, now we got lack of scars on characters. I feel like this one, maybe I'm being a little bit too picky here, but I also feel like some people can agree with me. Okay, it just bothers me, kind of annoys me whenever you see like one of the characters just get absolutely smacked, like just straight through a wall, and then the villain shows up and just starts pummeling them, and just like, why are there no cuts on you, dude? Like you just got thrown straight through a wall. Like I could show you an example, but I'd definitely get demonetized, maybe even banned. Like you can go hop on like Live Leak or something, maybe find something there. But I'm gonna tell you right now, flying through a wall does a lot to you. Like when the only visible difference in you after you got like the brakes beaten off of you is just like a line on your face and like a drop of blood. It's just like, what is happening, dude? My immersion is being broken right now. Maybe I'm just being picky though, because I feel like nobody else complains about this one, but you know what I'm talking about, Oh, and another thing, especially when some of these characters just get lit on fire and they just like are covered in soot. I know you don't want to like ruin this character's whole like presentation for the rest of the anime, but I feel like it's a little bit insensitive to actual burn victims. It's a cartoon. So I'll back up on that one. And I know I did just call it anime a cartoon. I will say though, I'll give it to Vinland Saga, because that boy Thorfinn, he be getting the shit kicked out of him. He like the brakes have flown off of his freaking wheels like in chapter 2, you know what I'm saying? But like they do a really good job of like keeping up with all the hits that you take. Don't get me wrong. I admit that it would be very tedious to just keep track of every single hit that your main character goes through, especially in like a battle anime like One Piece or something, or even like Record of Ragnarok. Can you imagine having to count each of those blows? I'm just saying, it slightly breaks the immersion. But then again, I'm just a picky bitch, so I'll take that one. Flashbacks in the middle of a fight, okay? There's nothing that pisses me off more than when I'm witnessing some of the most cinematic beauty, and then out of nowhere, immersion broken. Like, for what? Just to see that the bad guy was like, I don't know, he had a rock thrown at him when he was a child, and now he's like a mass murderer. Like, this could have literally just waited until after the main fight, and it would have been so much better, like I was complaining about the sad backstories before. Like this isn't the same thing, right? Like you have the backstory, but can you have it either at the beginning or the end of the fight? Why are you interrupting the hands being thrown, Like it's obviously it's gonna happen. It's part of the industry and part of like the genre of anime to have backstories. It's actually one of the things that I like about it. You get to see the character's backstory, you get to actually like hear their thought processes and things, which you can't really do with like live action media, which is great. But like know where you're placing the thing. Like, I know I was calling out Demon Slayer earlier for like the sad backstory thing, but they have the decency to put it after Tanjiro kills the demon, Like, I appreciate that. Because you got the whole fight, Tanjiro struggles, then he wins, and then you're like, oh, that guy had a sad backstory. I don't care, but I appreciate that you didn't break my immersion the entire time, Like, it kind of just feels like I'm being edged by a TV show whenever it happens. It's just like, oh my god, backstory. Oh my god, it's just like, this is not consensual, brother. Don't do this to me. Weak female characters. I feel like this is not as prominent as it used to be, but a lot of the older animes, they tend to be guilty of this thing where a lot of the female characters, even the main female character sometimes, they tend to be just useless or just unnecessarily weak compared to the other male characters, and it's just like, why? It might just be a shonen thing though, I'm not too sure. The main example is obviously the trash can. I mean, Sakura. Like, come on, man. Like, she was part of the main three, trained by Kakashi Hatake, trained by Lady Tsunade, the Hokage, and she ends up still getting lapped by Naruto and Sasuke. Don't get me wrong, those two boys are demigods, but still, she was part of the main three. In my opinion, she should have something happen to her so she could keep up with the other two. But I don't know, man. I don't know. And also, she didn't really have a major role in the last war other than like just keeping Naruto alive for a little bit, which was like, shout out to her. But even when what's her face, tall gray lady showed up, she couldn't really do anything. You know, she would have gotten absolutely mopped if she ran in there. So I was just kind of disappointed with her character, how it was handled mostly. Because there was a lot of potential that could have happened there, but in my opinion, probably just missed opportunity. Like, oh, another example would be like Misa Amane from Death Note. Like that's a fucking banger of an anime, right? I love Death Note, dude. But that was like even that really good anime falls victim to that. Like either way, like as I said earlier, it's like a thing with most of the older anime. But just in general, it just bothers me because it's like a lot of wasted potential, you know? There's like so many cool characters that just could have been so much more if they had like attention paid to them. But I don't know, man. Either way, I'm not trying to, this is not like a political thing too, because I feel like a lot of people might try to make this a political thing, but it's literally just wasted opportunity, if you ask me. But, you know, these days, shit, some of those characters are fucking gas, you know? Either way, that's it for some of the tropes that pisses me off with anime, my dudes. But thank you for watching.